All right, so we're gonna start up with our model. Now it's already been modeled. I'm not gonna model it because there's too many tutorial about modeling cans. This tutorial is all about making the animation and the simulation for this shot, right? We're gonna do just the first shot. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we need to first create the environment because it is important. Before you create the simulation, you need to have all the environment around it. And why is that? Well, it's because if you don't have the environment, then you don't have the collision object that the particle will collide with. So we need to make the environment first, and then we're going to talk about how to make the simulation, right? So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rotate it like this, so it's facing the y direction. It's not important, but you can do it accordingly, right? So basically, the environment that I want to create is going to be a snowy environment where there is rock and snow at the same time. So for this kind of model, you can look up on SketchUp. You might find some model, but the best place that I would recommend is to look for um, 3D scan from Megascans. Now they have a really high quality model that can really help you make the shot look realistic. So I'm also going to do it. I'm going to search for Megascans, and I already have it. So Quick Megascans, it's right there. Now I'm logging into the Megascan library. We got 18,000 assets for free. Now it was getting paid, I think, last year. Before that, it was entirely free. And I claimed all the asset. If you don't have claimed those asset, then you might need to buy it from Fib. But for now, I have it free. So let's just search for Snow, I guess. Let's see what we get here. I'm not sure where did I got it specifically in which category, but I might get asset that I'm looking for. So right here, you can see all those assets are really great and they just looks amazing. Um, I'm looking for something rocky and snowy, which helps me get the look. All right. So let me just find one of it that is flat and nicer. Now you can select any model that you want, but I'm not sure which one. I think this one is good. Now the best part about Megascan is that it's really high quality. So you just need to select, it's like 8K resolution. So I'm gonna download this one. Now it's gonna take a bit of time, but you gotta wait for it. Maybe you can cancel it. You can go to the settings, turn off all the LEDs. We just want one LED, I guess. And then get back and hit download. Now when you click download, it's gonna be smaller, not that big. Yeah, let's wait for this. So after downloading the model, now I'm gonna save the file first because this is an important step. If you don't save it, you can get into trouble if it crashes. So I'm gonna save it right now. I'm gonna call it the snow shot. Uh, Terrible at naming stuff, so I'm gonna call it the snow shot. And now what we're gonna do is it's gonna import all the models. So I have it here inside the asset. So I extracted the zip file. So it's here FBX. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drag and drop it into the scene and click import FBX. Now it's already imported. What I can do is I can rotate it and something like this. Maybe nice. Yeah, that's nice. Just get it down like this. Okay, so now you might think it has the texture, but it doesn't have the texture. It's just white. Let's just split the window right here. Go into shader editor, click new, hit N to hide the side panel. Just click it, Control Shift and T, and then go to assets. Now I'm gonna go ahead and this is the albedo map. You can just select all the maps and click principal texture setup. It's gonna load all the texture. Now it's gonna take a bit of time to load because it was an 8K texture and it might crash, but let's okay. So yeah, how I did it. Oh yeah, there is an add-on. If you go to preferences, add-on, you can search for Node Wrangler and it's right here. You can turn it on. What it does, when you select the principal and you hit Control Shift and T, It's going to load all the PBR maps for the texture, which is really nice. I'm not sure why is this happening. Um, okay, let's see how it looks in render. So first of all, let's go to the render engine, change it to cycles render and a GPU compute. Let's get back to solid so we can go faster. I'm going to turn on denoise for now. I'm going to go ahead into the world setting. I'm going to add sky texture. Okay, just go into render mode. Okay, let's. Okay, that looks nicer. Maybe the transmission map is not what we want. Yeah, we can plug it off for now. If you want to use it, just plug it in, but I don't want it. So what I want here is that my model to stay on top of this place. So I'm going to go to solid view. I'm going to select this guy and I'm just going to come up to this view, hit G and just grab it here. Go into that view and just put it here. Yeah, we don't need this other part, but for now we're going to keep it like so. So let's just create a camera. Let's go into camera view, lock it and move it accordingly. So I want to put the camera a bit away, right? So first of all, let's come to the camera settings. Come up to viewport display and turn on passport out, yeah. And I'm just gonna get back here. I'm gonna move it like this. So if you want to shoot something bigger, what you can do is to put the camera downside because it shows something to be bigger. Now you can also decrease the focal length and zoom in on the shot. So if you put it like this, it's gonna look um wider and it's gonna give the feel of that the object is gigantic and huge, right? So I'm just gonna save it like so. And if you go into render mode, that's how it's gonna look. Now the lighting is terrible. We're gonna fix it later on, but for now we were just setting up the scene. Um, I think what I could do is I can select this guy and then I can add a bump node. Sorry, not an attribute, a bump node. It's right here, connected here, and connect the albedo map to the height. Now, as you can see, it added the sharpness into it. You can decrease the value if you want. Maybe I can put these transmission back on because ice has the transmission property. But for now, we're gonna keep it like simple, right? Okay. So now it's time to set up the right. So the first thing is to just remove this world because add a new one. Now if you have a Blender kit, you you're in a good position because Blender kit has too many things. It has free model, free material, free scenes, and even free HDRI. So I'm gonna go to the HDRI tab and search for snow, just snow, and it will give me an HDRI about snow. Um, and yeah, it will be paired and locked. But if you want to get a free one, just click this filter button, turn on free first, and it will show all the free one on the first place, right? Just go forward and look for the one you like. Maybe I'm gonna put these and go for the original and click OK. Oh, it's the add K. Shit. No, that's not good. I'm gonna go for a better one, better than these. All right. Yeah, I like the snowy hillside. I'm gonna put it here. And I'm gonna hit OK. And I'm going to the world settings. And I'm gonna go ahead and rotate it accordingly. Yep, like this. Yeah, this lighting is good. You know what I'm saying? like 180 degree. It shows the sky and it shows this nice rim light on the model. Now, this is product rendering. You don't have to only leave everything into HDRI. You can add your own light into it. So if I click Shift A and then add a light and let add an area light, click R, maybe Y 90 degree, GX, yeah, right here, and I'm gonna scale it on Z like this, rotate it on Z like so, and GY rotate Z. Okay, so you might notice a problem. Like I just want to light up the model, but if you look down here, it's also lighting the landscape. And this is a really good feature in Blender in a newer version. So what you can do is you can actually identify object to affect by this light, right? So what I'm saying is if you select the light, go to the object settings, scroll down into shading. Right here, it is light linking. Just click new and right here, you can put in your 3D product. For example, I'm going to select all of this, just the 3D product, and click M and create a new collection. Just click create. Right here, it's collection 2. Select the light and drag and drop the collection in here. So now what it does, it actually only affect anything in this collection. It will not affect the terrain, which is in collection 1, right? So it will only affect the collection 2. This is a really handy feature in the new version of Blender. And yeah, I'm just gonna scale it on y-axis like so. Cool. Now you can go crazy with lighting. You can make it better if you want, but let's move ahead into the simulation side, right? Because simulating is important. Um, okay, so let's select this one, just move it a bit up because it is intersecting with the ground object, which is not what we want. We just want a bit lift. All right, so what we can do here is we can select our 3D model by selecting it and then go to File, Export. Oh, yeah, one thing. We cannot do the grain simulation in Blender. Now, there is some options that makes it possible into some limits, but it cannot be handled entirely. For example, we have molecular plus, right? We can do it with molecular plus, but we cannot control it entirely, right? We can do it with geometry nodes, but I don't know how to use it. We can do it with flip fluid. Now this is a fluid, but we can use it for grain, but I don't think it's a good idea because fluid behave, sorry, viscous fluid behave differently and grain behave differently, and it's not really a good thing to do. So what I'm gonna use is Houdini. Yeah, Houdini. So in order to export your 3D model to Houdini, you gotta export it in Alembic file. Now you can do FBX, but I like Alembic, so I'm gonna select it and go to File, Export, and Alembic. Now right here, you can create a new folder. You can call it the sim file, right? The sim, okay? Go inside it, create a new folder, call it Collider, right? So inside Collider, we're gonna click Selection Only. What it does, it will only export the selected object and click Export Alembic. Now it exported all the selected objects. Sorry, I'm gonna get back to 3D viewport. All right. So now I want to export the terrain as well because this is a collider or a ground for us. So I'm going to select it, go to File, go to Export, click Alembic, and now it is creating this file in the same directory. That is why it is red with the same name. I'm going to change the name to the terrain, right? And click Export Alembic. Now it's going to export it as well. Just save the file. Now it's time to load up Houdini and start simulating the snow. So right here we have Houdini opened. So I'm not gonna explain everything. If you're a Blender user and you never use Houdini, I'm gonna go through the important steps. I'm assuming that you know something about Houdini, so yeah, let's just get started. So first of all, you need a geometry node. Now, what is geometry? It's basically a collection in Blender, and we call it here geometry. So I'm gonna create a geometry, and I'm gonna put it here. I can go inside it and create 3D mesh that we usually do in Blender, like right here. we have this collection and we got object inside it. So this collection is basically the geometry node in Houdini. So inside it, we can create objects like these, like, you know what I'm saying? So right here, I'm gonna create an Alembic node to import Alembic files. So yeah, right here, Alembic. I'm gonna click this button and I'm gonna go ahead to the directory where I have all the collider file saved. So I'm gonna come up here and seam collider. Now first I'm gonna import um, the cane model. I'm gonna click accept. So it's right here in the mid ear. Yeah. And then I'm gonna import the other guy. So I'm gonna add the Alembic node again. I'm gonna import the terrain. So in Houdini, if you click the information, you can see we only have 3 points. But right here we have a bunch of vertices and edges. Right here we just have one. It's because the Alembic pick everything, so we need to unpick it. In order to unpack things, we're gonna create a convert node like this, and we're gonna put it here. It automatically does everything first. And now if you see the information, we have all the vertices. You know what I'm saying? We got all the um attributes, for example, the UV attribute for the cane. And now it also create the same node for the terrain right here. This is our terrain. All right, so if we just see, okay, so I don't want the entire terrain to be as a collider because it takes more um memory to calculate. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click enter and I'm gonna go into vertex selection. I'm gonna go into wireframe and I'm gonna select this side that we don't want in the collider. I'm gonna click tab and I'm gonna create a blast node. It's going to blast away all those points, which means delete all those points. I'm not gonna make it complicated for you. All right, so now what we want to do is to create um some uh, some snow. So first of all, let's save the file because it's important. Houdini doesn't crash as much as Blender, but it's important to save file. Houdini is very stable. I love it because of that. So I'm gonna create this file, snow, hit enter, and it's going to save the file. So right here we have the can model, and this is the terrain. I'm gonna select the terrain and move it to that side. All right. So right here, what we're gonna do is we want to create some particle around these models. First of all, let's change it into solid view, as we call it in Blender. So right here, we first of all need to change these into particles. For these, we're gonna add, we need some sort of volume. For volume, we're gonna add extrude node, poly extrude node, and I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna look into it. And what I can do is I can increase it, not too much, but just a bit. Um, like maybe 0.02, I guess is a better number. And I'm gonna scroll down, gonna click output back, so it also create the inside of it. If I zoom in, I'm not sure if I can show you, but we actually extruded the part outside so we can have some space for the snow. Now what we can do is we can actually add some points. For these, we're going to use Vellum Grain, Vellum Configure Grain, and what we're going to do is we're going to connect these one into here, and I'm going to look into it. Right now, we don't see anything because we need to click create points from the volume. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click change it to 0.01. If I look into it, okay, so I think it filled it inside with all those particles, but I just want the outside, right? I'm gonna select these. Maybe I could possibly increase this number to only get them on the surface. I think the solution to this is gonna be simple. Before we extrude it, what we can do is we can select the convert node and we can go inside it. What we can is we can go into wireframe and we can go to a front view. We can possibly zoom in, and we can delete the top part so we don't have the volume. I'm gonna click tab and I'm gonna add a blast node again. Click escape and get back into perspective, right? And we need to get back into smooth shaded, right? And if you look into the Vellum grain, now as you can see, it has the outer shell only, and we can also have the inner shell as well, right? So that's how it works. Now it's time to start simulating. So first of all, let's just merge the collider together. I'm gonna add a merge node right here. I'm gonna connect the convert and the blast, and I'm gonna look into it. So this is going to be the collider for our snow, right? And this is going to be our simulation. So I'm gonna connect these into the collider as well. I'm gonna add a Vellum Solver. It's right here, Vellum Solver. We're gonna put it, and we're gonna attach all these, sorry, we're gonna attach all these sockets in here, yeah, like so. Now we are ready to simulate. If we just save the file, right? I can play it. It's gonna fall like this, and it's also gonna explode, which I don't really want. So for no specific reason, it is leaking, right? Right here it was fine, but it just it just doesn't look right. So first of all, what you can do is to increase the substeps because this is an important thing. And then if you play it, it's gonna be more accurate, right? It's not just gonna explode and just go down. It's gonna do a thing that looks a bit realistic, right? So first of all, this is more of a grain, not like snow. Like if you look into it, it looks like some sort of sand, right? It behaving like sand. If you wanted to go for sand, then it was a good idea. But right now, what we want is snow. If you just play it, that's how sand behave. We want the snow behavior, right? So for the snow, what you can do is if you come up to the advanced here, go to the grain collision, and right here you can increase the attraction weight to 0.3. So what it does, it actually makes the particle attach to one another strongly, and they just don't move too much like this. Now it looks chunky, or you can say um, having a chunk of particles, but you can control the chunks if you want. You can basically control the attraction weight with the noise, which will look more like snow. So first of all, let's control the attraction weight. For this, we're gonna add a noise. Sorry, I think I spelled it wrong. Noise, and it's the attribute noise. I'm gonna put it here. Right now, if you look into it, it is controlling the color, which is called CD. But we want to control the attraction weight. So I'm gonna type in attraction weight because this is the attribute for controlling this value, right? I'm going to click this, and it's still colorful because attraction weight is not vector. It's a float value. So I'm going to turn this into a float. And then I'm going to scroll down right here. First of all, in post process, I'm going to turn on the minimum and the maximum value. I'm going to set the minimum to be must 0.1 because it's important. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the amplitude and also enable the ramp. And I'm going to expand it like this. I'm going to push these two values closer to one another so they get extremely higher for. So I'm also going to decrease the element size, which basically um, Let me just make it 0.08. Not sure which one is gonna work, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go for a bit higher, like 0.13. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm gonna push these two together. And now what it does, it actually controls the attraction weight according to the color, right? I'm gonna turn off the color so we can see it as spheres. I'm gonna reset the simulation. I'm gonna save the file first, and then I'm gonna play it. Right. So the first thing we're gonna do is to turn these into one, because these values are the multiplier of these attraction weight, right? So it multiplies itself to it, and the higher attraction weight value will have the value of 1, and the lower will is going to have like 0.1 or something like that. So right now, if you look into the behavior, it just falls into it. What we want is we want to slowly reveal the product. So for these, what we can do is to control the sleeping. I mean, the awakening, right? We're going to call it awakening. So what we want is to slowly awaken the particles as the animation goes forward. Before we do it, let's set the final frame to maybe 120. All right. So first of all, in order to do this effect, what we can do is to create an attribute wrangle, right? Where is it? Attribute wrangle. Yeah, right here. We're gonna connect it up to here. So first of all, what we're gonna say is that we have to stop all the particles, right? At the moment. Like, just stop it. And then we're gonna so before I explain this, I'm gonna explain one thing to you. In Houdini, most of the solver works like they only take information from the first frame. They doesn't get updated when the simulation goes on. So, for example, if you want to animate the attraction weight, it only takes the attraction weight value from the first frame. If you animate this, it is not going to work at all because the Vellum solver only takes the first frame values, even if you do it. So in order to animate values in Vellum Solver, you have to go inside it and then animate it right here, right? Like this is the source, this is the force, but we're gonna focus on the source. You have to animate it right here. So, so what I'm doing here is, first of all, I'm telling it to stop all the particles. So for this, I'm gonna add an attribute, which is a stop. So I'm gonna click add I, which is integer, at the rate. I'm gonna say stop will be equal to 1, right? So what it actually does, it actually stops all the particle from simulating. If you play it, it's not going to work because we stopped all of them from simulating. Okay, so now they are just staying there. Now we want to awake them slowly when the simulation goes on. So in order to do this, we need to find a way to update the simulation every single frame. We cannot do it in the sub level, in the geometry level. So we have to go inside the solver to create such a node or such a node tree to update the simulation, right? So I'm going to go inside it right here. I cannot create any kind of sub level nodes, right? I can only create dynamic nodes. So in order to create the sub level node, I will need a sub solver. So right here, I'm going to create a sub solver. So right here, yeah, sub solver. I'm going to add it right here. I'm going to connect it to the source. If you want to add forces, you can connect it here. But for other stuff, you can connect it to the source. So right here, I'm going to go inside it. Right here, I can do whatever the hell I want, right? So first of all, I want to create a group that goes down to slowly select those particles. So for these, I'm going to create a group node, right? Uh, sorry, um, a group node. I'm going to connect it right here. If I look into it, and if I turn these into points, now all the points are selected, but I'm going to turn these off. I'm going to click the boundary one. I'm going to click enable. So right here, it created a bounding box. It's right here. We need to move it here. So I'm going to click enter to go to edit mode. I'm going to move it like these on different axes, like so. So now if you look into it, anything that is inside the box is going to be activated, right? So it's not a very professional way of doing it. Some really professional Houdini artists do it with Wix or maybe WOP, but I'm doing it the Blender way, forcing everything to work on the easiest way possible. That's my job. That's what I do, right? So I'm gonna scale these cube up. All right. I'm gonna do it like so. I'm only gonna scale it on that axis. I'm also gonna scale it on this. So anything that is inside these will be simulated. Anything that is outside these will not be simulated. So I'm gonna turn on the brain here so we don't have to calculate all the frames again and again. So first of all, I'm gonna move it up. So on the first frame, everything is not working. Everything is stopped. So right here, this is the values for the location. So I'm going to right click it, go and set a keyframe. So on the last frame, well, maybe not on the last, but maybe on the 100 frame, I want to move this object by y-axis, right? So I'm just going to move it down like this. And now I already turned on the automatic keyframe, which will add, oh, it's not adding. Okay, it's not turned on. So I'm gonna turn these on. Where is it? Oh, I need to click this. Yeah. I have to move it down. It will create these by itself. So as you can see, the box is going down. So it's basically the same idea that it will turn those point on and they will start simulating. So right now, I'm going to tell Houdini to turn on those particle and not those ones. So I'm going to right click here. I'm going to add the same attribute wrangle node that we did on the top level. And I'm going to connect it right here. Right here, the points are selected and that's good. And now we have to select the group, which is group one. And in the group one, we want the stopped attribute to be 0. So it will turn all those particles in this group to have the stopped attribute equals to 0, which will turn on the particles, right? Yeah, this is small I. That's it. That's the simulation, right? If you go out of here and turn on the brain, oh, click escape, go to the first frame so you can see it. If you play it, it's likely not gonna work at the first, but later then you will realize that it's working because we are slowly turning on all the particles, right? Let's wait for these. The cube is coming into doing its job. It's slow, but it's gonna work. And here it is. It's working. We are making the snow peel off effect. And that's how it's done. And it's super easy to do, right? Now this is the entire effects. I think that looks super sick. Um, yeah, looks kind of cool. And yeah, if this is loaded into the RAM, we can play it smoothly. It's a bit quick, but you can play around with the keyframe. You just need to go inside it, and what you can do is to just change it accordingly, right? Okay, that's nice. Let's just save the file. But right now, if you zoom in, you can really see the spheres, right? They doesn't look to be looking nicer because they are just spheres. So what we want is to have a detailed simulation, right? So select the grain node right here. First of all, turn on the jitter scale and turn on the adjust radius to avoid overlapping. So it will avoid exploding. Now you can change the particle size, which will affect the resolution of your simulation. So I'm gonna click backspace and I'm gonna go 0.007. Now it's gonna take a bit of time to, oh, it's still taking time. Maybe I'm gonna go with 5. It's gonna add a bunch of particles, right? If you go from far away angle, you can't even see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to only simulate 0.07 for the sake of the tutorial because I just want a faster result. Okay, so if you are good with all the stuff that you have done so far, what you can do is you can actually um, cache this out, or actually we call it backing in Blender, so I'm going to call it back. We can just back it right now. So I'm going to add a file cache node right here. I'm going to put the output into it, and I'm going to look into it. So that's how it looks in the final. I'm going to select a location for the simulation. It's okay. I'm going to click accept. And now I can click, first of all, save the file. Sometime it crashes and then save to disk. Now it's going to start saving all the files into the disk. You got to wait for it. But luckily, we don't have that high res simulation. It's going to be done in a few seconds. So after baking the simulation, now we are good to go. One thing you can try to avoid some of the spherical condition. What you can do is like, first of all, you can increase this number to a higher, you will not even be able to see those smaller bits, right? But if you still have this problem and your system do not allow you to increase the grain size, then you can do this one solution. You can select your cache, then go to the grains here and say uprise grain and select the grain and hit enter. Now what it does, it actually adds four more nodes, which actually, if I just look into it, it basically make the scale of those spheres smaller. So right now, like what it does, it actually creates more particle around one particle. So it's creating 10 particles. I'm going to set this to 3 because I don't want too much of repetition. I'm going to, the color is not what we want. I'm going to create another color node. So I can look into it. Right now, that's how it looks like. And I think this looks fine to me. Now it's time to export it into Blender. How to do it? So the basic way is to use Alembic file again. So I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna search for Alembic and I'm gonna go ROP Alembic output. I'm gonna connect it right here and I'm gonna choose a folder that I want to save it into. It's right here. I'm gonna call it out.abc. The ABC is important and hit accept. Right here, you have to change these to render frame range and save the file. And then click save to disk, and it's going to save the entire sequence as an Alembic file. Now it's happening faster right here because we already saved all the simulation. It is just converting it into Alembic file. All right, so it's saved into Alembic file. Now, as I already said, that you can increase the resolution of those spheres. They look a bit not very good, but you can increase the quality or the size of the particles. But for now, I'm going with a very low resolution, so I can do it faster for you. So let's get back into Blender. Right here, first of all, save the file, guys. Go to File, Import, Alembic. Now, right here in the same folder, we got the output.alembic and click Import. Now it's going to import these into the same place, right? It's not going to change anything. You can look up into the camera. So right now the size of the sphere is too big. How to make it smaller? So for that, what you can do is go into geometry nodes, click new, zoom in on the particle so we can see what's going on. So I created a new geometry. So I'm going to click Shift A. I'm going to go to the points right here, set point radius. If I add this, now it's going to getting bigger. I'm going to click the radius here. I'm going to say 0.001. Maybe that's a bit smaller. We can go for like 0.07. No, that's still bigger. I'm going to go for 0.05. I think that's better. Yeah, now as you can see, the sphere is visible. As I already said, you can increase the resolution by decreasing the size of the particle in the Vellum grain, but for now I'm gonna go for this so I can only show you the main part. So if I go into render mode, And first of all, save the file because it's important. Now get this problem. I'm not sure why this happen. What it usually happens is this. Uh, so if you go again into render view, you will be able to see it, right? I can just scrub through the timeline. It is going to be fixed. And right here, so yeah, as you can see, we got the snow in Blender. Now, if you go into camera view, you can really see it from here. Now you can create, oh, it is added to this collection that's why we can see this material here. I think I need to create a new collection for it, right? If you still want this effect on it, what you can do is select this one, Shift and D, duplicate it, move it a bit backward, and right here, remove, just duplicate the light linking, remove this, create a new one, and add collection 3 into that one, right? So it only affects the snow, okay? Now you can, I think we need to scale it down slightly. Maybe we can go for 4. Maybe 4 is too much. Maybe 2. Yeah, 2 is reasonable and looking good, right? And you can save the file. Now again, you got the same problem. You just need to scrub through the timeline. It's gonna be fixed, right? So yeah, that's how you do it. Now, as I already said, you can increase the resolution by decreasing the particle size. But for now, I just used a smaller particle size so I can show you the result quickly. Yeah, you can also add a material into it by clicking new material, and it's going to add a new material into it. You can decrease the roughness. You can increase the specularity if you want. You can actually add transmission into it because most of the time the snow is transmissive and it looks nicer if you do it that way. And you can also decrease the alpha a little bit, right? So yeah, that's it. You just need to render this sequence and you are done with it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, I got multiple shot in this ad. And if you want me to recreate them again, step by step, then you can surely do a comment. And I will put the link to necessary assets that are being used in this video. And yeah, so thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.